All right, everybody, welcome back to You Should Know This. This is Lean Part 3, the history of Lean. I'm not going to really talk about tools in this one. I want you to get the feeling and the history of the Toyota production system so you'll be in the proper frame of mind to use the Lean tools in a proper manner and get the correct results. You can use the tools and get bad results. I've seen that. You don't want to do that. It's ugly. So let's look at Toyota history and figure out what's going on. So this is the older Toyota logo from the 60s. The Range Rover guys love this. They call it the Tech logo, TEQ. It's not TEQ, it is a stylized version of the name Toyota. This is an older version before they started making cars of the Toyota logo that looks like the founder's name, Toyota, instead of Toyota. So these are the two names written out in katakana, I believe. The top one is the family name and the name of the Automatic Loom Corporation. The bottom one is Toyota, the name of the car manufacturer. So the reason they did that is because of the way you write in Japanese with the paintbrush. Each stroke is very important. You do it the correct direction, and you see there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 strokes. So the Toyota, the bottom one, has 8 strokes to make that series of characters. The top one, Toyota, the family name, would be 10 strokes. 10 is just the number, but in Japan, 8 is a lucky number. So that's why they use Toyota. It's a lucky number. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So this is Mr. Toyoda. See, I'm going to butcher that first name, but this is Mr. Toyoda, born in 1867, and Japan had just ended the shogunate Edo period, I believe, and they were kind of in an economic depression. He grew up very poor. But even though he was poor, he was an absolute genius by all accounts. The Japanese people study him the way us Americans study Edison and Ben Franklin and Henry Ford and such. His tiny village was struggling to get by. His dad was a carpenter, and his mom was a homemaker, and she tried to help the family get more money. The stories kind of differ, but she went into weaving, automatic loom weaving of fabric. So he saw the hurt going on in the world, the economic depression of Japan in the late 1800s. And he wanted to improve society. He wanted to improve everything around him. And he saw the trouble his mom was having. So, and we're getting into this. Are you in for the sport? Are you in your business for the love of the game to make a great product? Are you in it for the money? Do you love the game or do you love the money? Let's go quick overview and see who loves the game and who loves the money. Steve Jobs. That iPhone, every time he put out an iPhone, it was the bleeding edge of technology. The whatever else was available for mobile phones or music listening couldn't hold a candle to Apple. Yeah, it cost more, but it was such better technology. And then he died, and the company went to love of money, and they have been chasing Android ever since. They still cost more, but you don't get as many features as Android. Anybody will tell you that. Do you love the game or do you love the money? Are you called before Congress to testify as one of the uh, people who are wrongly influencing others? Yeah, I'll put it nicely there, and we'll just walk away from that. Babe Ruth loved the game and loved the money, and he was in the perfect spot because the dead ball era had just ended and he became iconic. But, you know, some people just love the game and they'll keep playing even with a bloody face. John Deere. During America's Great Depression and the Dust Bowl, they refused to repossess tractors. Generations of Americans loved John Deere because it saved the family farm. And then the last few years, they decided to love the money better, and the farmers cannot fix the simplest problems on their tractors. They have to get a certified technician to come out to their farm for a truckload of money to fix something simple. There are right to repair lawsuits going on right now. It's so bad the politicians are listening to the farmers. Love the game or do you love the money? Mr. Toyota loved the game. He wanted to improve society. He knew it could be done better. Things can be better. He knew it could be done better. Most of my information is coming from this book, How Toyota Became Number One by David McGee. It's a good book, real page turner, and he gets much more in depth on it. Um, I I don't think we're related. The name's similar, but anyway. So Mr. Toyoda's mom, her name was spelled EI in romanized, yes, romanized alphabet. So I'm not sure exactly how to pronounce that in Japanese. She gets a job working on these manual looms. She got to turn the loom and watch 40 threads go into this woven fabric to make a design. One of the threads breaks. It ruins the fabric if she doesn't catch it. It was just nerve wracking, and it aged her faster than her friends that were working in the field. I don't know what the crop was in that village, but the people weaving were aging faster than the people farming. Well, he was a carpenter. Those looms were made of wood. And eventually, her manager, boss, factory owner, came to him as the town carpenter, said, I need another loom because mine are getting old. So he said, give me a bit. I'm going to design something. And I need to talk to your employees, see what they need. He said, okay. He lets him talk to the employees. And again, the broken thread. They all talk about the broken thread, the thread running out. It's horrible for them. So he goes back and call it 1890. He builds this Model 1. I believe it's called the Model 1. A wooden loom that had an automatic thread stop. Yes, decades before the transistor or the photo eye or the computer or any sensors, he invented an automatic thread stop that worked on wood. If any of the threads broke or ran out, the machine would shut down. The employees went from being terrified on one of the threads breaking to nonchalantly watching 4 machines per employee. Yes, it quadrupled production overnight just by improving the machine. And that shows you what kind of genius this man was. An automatic thread stop in 1890, 70 years before the transistor was invented. So he started the Toyota Automatic Loom Works. They made millions and millions of dollars. It was yens, but he was a millionaire by any country standards. And his son traveled the world to see how they were doing their automatic looms. He wanted to see if they could improve, and he bumped into something called an automobile in the 1930s. And he said, we can make that. And he bought a Buick, shipped it home to Japan, and Toyota engineers reverse engineered it so well that the parts were interchangeable with that, I believe, 1935 Buick. He sold Toyota Automatic Loom Works and started making cars. About that time, the managers of Toyota Motor Cars made up the Toyota Precepts, the philosophy of Toyota set out by Mr. Toyoda here. I'll show you what those are here in a minute. But they do pertain to how to do lean properly. In case you're wondering, lean is a word that was made up in the 1980s by an MIT a student who was trying to explain the Toyota production system and waste removal from your manufacturing processes. They just called it the Toyota way for decades. So these are the precepts for Toyota. Be faithful to your duties, contribute to the company and the overall good. Remember, he wanted to improve society, the overall good. Be studious, creative, stay ahead of the times. Don't relax. If you think it's good enough, you're already behind. Be practical, avoid frivolousness. Strive to build a home-like atmosphere at work that is warm and friendly. Always have respect for spiritual matters and remember to be grateful at all times. Those last two also come into play. They're very important on that book I showed, How Toyota Became Number One. He watched his mom grow old. At Toyota, every employee is somebody's mom. That's somebody's dad. That's somebody's wife. Show them the respect you would show a family member. And you make sure that they show others that respect and the company that respect. I have hope that my company will get better. I have a chance for more overtime. I have a chance for raises and bonuses if my company improves. And if you sit your employees down and make sure you explain that to them, that the company gets better, your paycheck gets better, the company fails, you're on unemployment. So if you treat them like adults and treat them like family, you'll get better results out of them. They'll keep pitching when they're bleeding. Love of the game. Many years later, 1960s, Teiichi Ono took over at Toyota and came up with the terms of waste. Um, the 5 Ys were from Mr. Toyoda, I believe. Mr. Ono came up with many of the other tools that you'll hear about in Lean. And he just wants to add value. We are reducing the timeline by reducing the non-value adding waste. That's it. I don't know a better way to bring that forward, but you look at the simple things here, here, and here. You step back and you see if you're standing across the factory from someone, you can see where they have to put in waste. It's extra steps that don't need to be there. It's extra motions that don't need to be there. And Mr. Ono, when he was training a new manager, he would sit them on a stool in the factory and just make them watch. They couldn't say anything or do anything. And they would sit there and they would see waste happening right in front of them. Even though Toyota employees themselves had looked for decades to find waste, a manager sitting there for 20 minutes watching will find waste. It's not about pushing the employee faster. The best way I can explain it is more units per calorie. You don't force the employee to burn more calories. You make it so the employee produces more for the same amount of calories. How many nails can you drive with a hammer? For fewer calories, with a pneumatic hammer, you can drive hundreds more nails. So you sit there, you look closely, you find where waste is, and you try to eliminate the waste. It sounds easy, but millions of employees have looked at it and they've tried it. Thousands of companies have learned directly from Toyota, including Toyota competitors, and they can't do it because they're in it for the love of the money and not the love of the game. So I think that's it. Like, share, and subscribe. I hope this got through to you.